Now we're going to work on learning target 1D, which is creating an equation and an inequality from a word problem. Here's my first story. It says that Eric has 22 friends on Facebook. Every day he gets 100 more. I want to know how many days until he has 800 friends. So I'm going to write the current amount that he has. And I look back and it says that he's getting more, which I know more means adding. And we know that amount is going to be 100. But remember, we don't know how many days. It just says every day. That's what we're trying to figure out. So my x needs to go with the 100. Equals our total amount that we want Eric to have. Now I just need to solve for x. So I see where my x is and I cover it up. I need to get rid of my positive 22, so I subtract 22 to both sides. I'm left with 100x equals 778. My final step is to divide both sides by 100. I'm left with x equals 7.78. Now my last step is to make sure I have my label because I'm not sure what I'm talking about right now. So I come back to my equation and it says, I come back to my word problem, it says how many days. So my label is going to be days. Let's look at what an inequality would look like. It says Miss Kordick has 30 apples. She eats 2 each hour. I want to know how many hours until she has at least 5 apples left. So remember, the difference with an inequality are my inequality signs. Okay, and we know that my inequality signs that look like this are at least, at most, less than, or more than. So I start with my current amount that Miss Kordick has, which is 30 apples. She's eating, which means she's subtracting 2 every hour, but we don't know how many hours, so I represent that as an x. I want to know how many until she has at least, so I come over to this and I see my at least sign looks like that. And I want that to be a total of 5. So just like solving an equation, I get rid of my positive 30 by subtracting 30 to both sides. I'm left with negative 2x, my inequality sign, and negative 25. My last step is to divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 25 divided by negative 2 is 12.5. Now I have to ask myself, did I divide both sides by a negative on the bottom? You should be saying yes, so I need to then flip my inequality sign. My last step is to make sure I have my label, which I had underlined here, of hours. And that is my final answer.